You ever get that feeling that there's a hidden conversation happening inside your own body? A secret link between how you're thinking and how you're physically feeling? Well, you're not wrong. Today, we're jumping onto the superhighway that connects your brain to your body's best defense force, your immune system.
I mean, think about it. That cold that just always shows up right before a huge work deadline. Or that feeling of being completely wiped out, even a little bit sad when you've got a bug. We've all been there. And it feels connected, right? Like your stress is making you sick, or being sick is messing with your head. And I'm here to tell you, it is absolutely not your imagination. This is a real, physical, honest-to-goodness communication network. In fact, what you're picking up on is one of the most exciting frontiers in modern science. There's a whole field that studies this, and it's called psychoneuroimmunology. Yeah, PNI for short. Now, that's a mouthful, but the most important word in there is bidirectional. This isn't a one-way street where your brain just barks orders at your immune system. No, it's a constant two-way conversation. So, let's start with the first lane on this superhighway, how your brain, your thoughts, and your stress levels can directly take the wheel and steer your immune cells. For the longest time, everyone thought the immune system was this totally separate, independent army. But then scientists started noticing things that didn't quite add up. Back in the 50s and 60s, studies kept showing that stressed out lab animals just got sick more often. Then, in the 80s, things got really weird. A researcher named Robert Ader showed you could basically condition an animal's immune system to shut down just by giving it some sweet water. It was just like Pavlov's dogs, but for immunity. The real game changer, though, was when scientists found the actual physical wiring. Nerve fibers from our fight or flight system plug directly into immune headquarters, like the spleen. And here's why finding those wires was so huge. It turns out our immune cells are covered in these little docking stations or receptors for the exact same chemicals our brain uses to talk to itself. We're talking stress hormones and neurotransmitters. This means your immune cells are literally listening in on your nervous system's private conversations. They're eavesdropping on your stress levels.
Okay, this is where it gets absolutely wild. It's not just the stressor itself that matters, it's how you think about the stress. Get this, in a brilliant experiment, two groups of rats got the exact same electric shocks. The only difference? One group could push a lever to stop the shock. They had a sense of control. The other group? No control at all. The results were staggering. The rats with no control had their immune systems tank, leading to faster tumor growth. Just think about that for a second. This simple perception of control completely changed their biology.
And this isn't some weird fluke that only happens in lab rats. Landmark studies on medical students found that during the crazy stress of final exams, the activity of their natural killer cells, these are the frontline soldiers against viruses, just plummeted. The psychological pressure had a real, measurable physical effect on their immune defenses. But remember, this is a two-way street, so let's merge into the other lane of this superhighway, because this, to me, is where things get truly mind-bending. It turns out your immune system is talking right back to your brain. This quote from one of the pioneers of this field, J. Edwin Blalock, just changes everything. He suggested we should think of the immune system as a kind of sixth sense. A radical idea, right? And what does this sixth sense detect? Stuff we can't see, hear, or smell. We're talking about viruses, bacteria, microscopic invaders. Your immune system is constantly scanning your body for these tiny threats, and when it finds one, it has to send a report back to headquarters, your brain. So let's walk through how that works when you get a cold. Your immune cells spot the virus and start shooting off these little chemical messenger flares called cytokines. These cytokines travel all the way up to your brain and deliver a clear message. Hey, we are under attack down here. Your brain gets a message and kicks off a program called sickness behavior. All of a sudden you feel tired, you don't want to eat, you want to be left alone. That's not the virus doing that to you. That's your immune system telling your brain to change your behavior. But wait, why? Why would your body deliberately make you feel miserable when you're already sick? It almost seems cruel. Well, it's actually an incredibly clever survival strategy that we've evolved over millennia. Making you tired saves energy so your immune system can use it for the fight. Making you antisocial reduces the chance you'll spread the bug to everyone else. It's your body's brilliant way of forcing you to do exactly what you need to do, just rest and get better. But here's the dark side. This whole system is designed for short-term battles. What happens when the inflammation becomes chronic?
from a long-term illness, or even from constant psychological stress. Well, those cytokine signals can get stuck in the on position. And this constant alarm bell ringing in the brain is now strongly linked to the development of mood disorders, including clinical depression.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and see how all these different pieces of the puzzle fit together to create our overall health.
This might look complicated, but don't worry about reading all the tiny boxes. This is just a map of our health called the biopsychosocial model. Let's start with our mindset. Things like optimism, how we cope with stuff, our friendships. These aren't just fluffy ideas, they act like a real filter, changing how life's challenges physically impact us.
When you've got the other big inputs, on one side you have your biology, your genetics, your age, kind of like the hand you were dealt. And on the other you have your behavior, the choices you make every day about sleep, food, and exercise. These are the basic building blocks of our physical health.
Now look at how all these arrows point toward the middle. That is the superhighway in action. Our mindset and our daily choices all funnel right down to this central hub, directly influencing the chemical systems that run our body. This is the spot where our thoughts and actions literally become biology.
And ultimately, the way all these parts interact with each other determines our entire health story, from how likely we are to get sick in the first place to how well we recover and our overall quality of life. See? It's all connected.
So after all of this, what's the big takeaway? Well, it means we pretty much have to throw out our old, outdated ideas about sickness and health. If you remember one thing, let it be this. The mind and body are not two separate things that are just connected. They are a single, unified system. There is no clear line where your thoughts end and your cells begin. It is all one constant, flowing conversation.
So maybe it's time we update our metaphors. Your immune system isn't just a mindless army of soldiers. It's more like a sophisticated intelligence agency, out there gathering critical information from the front lines and sending reports back to headquarters, the brain. And those reports change how you feel, how you think, and what you do.
And that leaves us with one final thought to sit with. If your immune system really is a sense, constantly listening to your inner world and whispering to your brain, what do you think it's telling you right now?